Hello everyone.
Hi there.
And welcome to another episode of the Getaway Zone. And this one is our Shakedown week.
We start out at Kingsley Grove Vineyard and Winery, where it was a free camp, but not so free if you factor in the wine tasting and the pizza buying.
Yeah, so we did have a bottle of wine and a pizza. Now while we're there, we did have a fairly serious fault occur with the van electricals, which required an urgent repair. So you'll see that in the episode as well. After that,
Kingsley Grove was fantastic. We then headed to Emu Creek campground. And that was a, what was it, $6 a night or?
Yeah, $6 per, or $6.50, no, I think it's $7 now, $7 per person. And that was in the Banarkan State Forest. And that was a beautiful campground. Took us across about 20k of dirt road, so we got the van, gave it a bit of a shake up, which is what the whole trip was about, of course.
We might have given the van a shake up, but it was certainly dust free on the inside, which was really nice.
Yeah, and then after that we had a few overnighters as we made our way back towards CoolumRV to get our first service done for the Shakedown. There are some minor faults and we'll go through all those faults at the end of the episode.
All in all, a very successful week.
Yeah, please join us for this episode.
Yeah.
Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, a fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild. We're running wild underneath the rows of trees. I will see where the ocean meets the sky.
We finished our 4 days at Hangar O and now we're off to begin our Shakedown week. It was an enjoyable time, wasn't it?
Had a great time.
Great handover, great time.
Thanks, Hangar O.
Thank you, and thanks Darren, he's very helpful. And now we're heading off to Soren Hansen Bridge, which is a free camp somewhere southwest. I can't remember the location exactly.
We better plug it in.
We'll see you there. Looks like we're in cotton country. All the little bits of cotton on the side of the road. So we're in the South Burnett area, just passed through Wandai on our way to Kingaroy, I think. Yeah.
So we've just heard from our travelling buddies and we're told about Kingsley Free Camping and Winery. So I'm all for that. What about you?
Well, I think as soon as they said the word winery, that was us. So we're no longer going to the Soren Hansen Bridge free camp, I think it was.
Yeah.
We're now going to the Kingsley Grove Winery, which is free camping, and we may do the right thing and buy a bottle of wine while we're there. I mean, that's just the right thing to do, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Our travelling buddies.
Oh! Us too deadly.
Well, we have arrived at the Kingsley Grove and set ourselves up. We've been over and had a look at the cellar door already, and that was really nice. So lady there who was serving us, Grace her name was Lovely person she was, and we really enjoyed the taste testing. Yes, of course we did buy a bottle of wine, and the owner there also offered to bring our pizza over for us. So we've ordered pizza, and that'll be coming over shortly as well. So what a lovely spot. We're glad we've got here for a couple of days. We're set up nicely and looking forward to these few days. Well, it's our shakedown week, and we've come across sort of the first of our issues. This one was a little bit problematic. We're throwing some error codes last night when using the inverter on high power, using the induction cooktop, and error code threw up, which is the one on screen now, bad battery connection, and shut down the system. So we had to switch the inverter off and everything was okay again. Tried the inverter again later without a big power load and it was okay. But the biggest disaster was, couldn't make my coffee this morning, and that was not good. So contacted Redarc. They were very good and said most likely scenario is a loose battery connection. Contacted Zone, and they've said we can take it to any auto electrician or place we like and they'll pay for it, so that's good service from their side of it. Be nice if their quality control had picked it up in the first place, but never mind, its backup is good. So Zone lithium batteries do come in this, I'll show you, this battery box underneath, and we just had a bit of a look. Rob, our travelling partner, is an electrician, so he's had a bit of a gander and said, yep, that terminal there is loose, and obviously to tighten it, the issue is the whole battery box has got to be dropped down and check all the other connections while we're there and do that, and it's quite a weight in that, so we're not going to even try to do that. We will be booked in to see an auto electrician in Kingaroy, which is only 20 minutes down the road, thank goodness, so we'll go there after lunch and get them to do that and hopefully rectify our issue. Well, we are now on our way to Kingaroy Auto Electricians. The gentleman there has kindly squeezed us in to hopefully rectify our loose battery connections. But to do that, he's got to drop the entire battery box and tighten it from the inside, plus check the other connections while he's there. And hopefully that will be problem solved and we'll be back out here to enjoy our camping. We are now at Kingaroy Auto Electricians. Kindly said drop the van out the front, and Tony the boss and Joe are climbing underneath now to fix it up. And I'm just going to say, wonderful service that they've just taken us in straight away. Otherwise it's a long drive back to Zone in Brisbane, so good on them. If you're in Kingaroy and you need some work done, I could recommend these guys. Just received a phone call from the auto electrician to say that it's all fixed up and the van is ready to be picked up. He sent us a couple of photos showing the damage to the battery terminals and the insulator, but he's been right through everything and everything looks hunky-dory. It's been fixed and we're all good to go. So back out to the Vineyard and to enjoy the rest of our stay here at Kingaroy, or just outside of Kingaroy. And now, of course, our favourite pastime, and visit the information centre. We're all doing the look up at the silos. It's a big set of silos. I've not seen any as big as that. They're quite tall, and there's 72 cylinders or silos. And you can see the truck there unloading into those tiny little conveyors which shunt them straight up and into the top of the silos. And they must have other conveyors up top, I'm assuming, to distribute it around between the silos. So being Kingaroy, it's all about the peanuts. And beside the visitor centre is the Kingaroy Heritage Museum, which fantastic history all about Kingaroy and the early times and the peanut growing. It's really fantastic. Callan was just saying.
Good on you, Polly.
No, the way this is put together, like...
Yeah, the persons or the person that actually, through their mind, constructed this to make it actually work.
The engineering of the day. It is amazing, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you
Seeing the difference of the harvesters from what they had 100 years ago to what they're using now, which you can see on the TV screen, it's just amazing. It's so automated now and so manual back then, but like I was saying a bit before, the engineering into some of these old harvesters is pretty amazing as well. It is very impressive. They even had an air base here during the Second World War. So in 1942 is this scale model of the Light Horse Brigade in the First World War, the fall of Beersheba and taking of Gaza from the Turkish Empire or Ottoman Empire. Of course, it's not only peanut country, but it's also Joe country. We've driven out from Kingaroy to the Tarbinga homestead, which was established back in 1842, my good guide tells me. So unfortunately it's closed today, but we did ring, and the lady who actually lives here said we're welcome to come and have a look around. So we can walk around outside. That's what we're going to do.
Situated near Kingaroy, heritage-listed Tarbinga Homestead was built in 1846 and lives on as one of Queensland's oldest, continually occupied homes. The homestead is part of the National Estate and is central to the history of the South Burnett. The homestead was built in 1846 and is one of Queensland's oldest, continuously lived-in rural homes. Situated at Haley Creek near Kingaroy, Tarbinga Homestead is a working cattle property.
We would have employed quite a few people here in today because it had a very large garden and there is a lot of outbuildings around the place. Probably where different employees were housed. Clearly a few gardeners. The old tennis court over there, what's remaining of it. Would have been a buzzing station in the day. Like, it really is quite laid out and beautiful gardening around the place, even though it's probably not as kept as well as it would have been in the day. I'm guessing this would have been where they butchered the cattle. There's a block in there, a meat block or something, and obviously keep the flies out with fly screen. Fiona Libby is out today, but she did say when we rang that we can come and have a look around the outside. She had no problem with that. And had she been here, she would have put on tea and scones for us, so that would have been really nice. Well, we've left Kingsley Estate Vineyards and we're now on our way to our next destination, which is Emu Creek Campgrounds in a national park. So it's a dirt road in. I think it was about 15k of dirt road or something like that. And we spotted the grader at the entrance when we entered, and he said, "Oh, most of it's been graded, so it's pretty good now," and it is. It's still a little bit rough here and there, and we did air down a little bit as we showed you, but yeah, it's pretty good. We'll show you the campground when we get there. As it is the Shakedown week, we did want to take the van across some dirt roads and give it a shake. So that's what we're doing. We're giving the van a shake for our Shakedown week. Well, we've arrived. We're set
We
up.
have.
We're at Emu
Right.
Creek.
It should be Kookaburra Creek.
Oh, there's some
There's a
kookaburras
ton of
here,
them.
I tell you. But it's a dusty old road coming in, so our brand new clean van is now a layer of dust all over it.
Fortunately not inside, so
No,
that's good.
so that's good, yeah. So yeah, it's a beautiful spot. There's a lovely creek down there, which looks like it'll be
Rob, you gonna go
beautiful.
for a swim?
No.
Not swimming this time, mate? After the snowy river, mate, I figured you'd swim anywhere. But during summer, that would just be a top spot. So,
I
yeah.
don't think there'd be any parks left here if it was summer.
But those kookaburras are lined up and waiting for us to get the barbecue out.
Yeah, I do.
Well, it's a beautiful morning. I'm up early. Well, early for caravanning. It's just turned 7 AM, I think. A beautiful fog up on the hills. Birds are up early, which is why I'm out with my camera. And to see how I go. And yeah. You can hear a whip bird and disturb some birds down there in the river. So anyway, I'll go down and have a look. But everyone else is still in bed, all tucked up nicely in the caravans. Well, that wasn't so successful. Only the usual birds you get around campsites, like your kookaburras and currawongs and butcherbirds and ravens. Bigger birds that tend to prey on the little ones. So no other little birds around.
We're watching them watch us.
We're having our pizza, which I might add is delicious. But up there in the trees are the bloody kookaburras ready to swoop if you take your eye off it for a moment.
Well, we just left Emu Creek Campground, and what a beautiful spot that was. Absolutely gorgeous. So we were sitting by the fire last night, and Carolyn decided to go over and invite the neighbours to come and join us. And lo and behold, I kid you not, turns out that it's a second cousin of mine that I never knew I had. So a big hello to Adrian and Sue. It was so lovely to meet you. And thanks, Carolyn.
Emu Creek Campground, there's two campgrounds here, Clancy Creek and Emu Creek. Of the two campgrounds, I think Emu Creek would be the better for caravans. There's probably room for about a dozen caravans there in the flatter areas. Some areas are a bit too angled. Clancy River or Clancy Campground, whatever it's called, is it's probably only one or maybe two spots that are flat enough for caravans. So do pick Emu Creek if you're looking to go to either one. We're now got the steep climb up and on our way to Kenilworth somewhere, not sure where. The road itself, even though it's dirt and little tight in places, it's probably a two-wheel drive track. You don't need a four-wheel drive. But
Well, there were a couple of hairpin turns there that I wouldn't like to come across another vehicle, especially another caravan on the track.
yeah, that's correct. Anyway, we'll see you in Kenilworth. We've just pulled into Kilcoy on our way through to Kenilworth. So Kilcoy's got their show on and the place is pumping. It's pretty packed. We've just stopped at Yowie Park for a bite to eat, and there's a fish fan here. Got some really nice whiting and prawns, and a good price, so that was really nice. If you're passing through, give it a try. We've rang ahead to Kenilworth, and they've got some sort of bike show on or something or other, so the showgrounds is booked out. A few of the other places are booked out. One place that still has vacancy to park in a paid campground has gone up from 30 to 40 per night, so we won't be going there. So we're now heading on to a showground north of Kenilworth, which is Imbil or something like that. I'll put it on the screen because I'm sure I've said that wrong. Anyway, so that's our next destination. Well, we've arrived at Imbil, so we're staying here instead of our original plans of near Kenilworth. We're at the showgrounds. We're actually at the overflow area of the showgrounds because the showgrounds themselves are full, so it's very busy around this southeast corner. But anyway, we're going to have a look around the town and see what we think of it. Well, while we were at Imbil, they had the Mary Vale Art Festival on, so we just went inside and had a look around.
So many talented people. Honestly, the beauty in that artwork, like I love the old detailed bush scenes, you know, the
yeah, the landscapes and things, yeah.
and whatnot, yeah.
I did not.
She's a
You did.
It was quite good. There's some very beautiful art there. I'm not such a big fan of the
not a fan
more
of the
contemporary
abstract.
stuff. There was some stuff that was brilliant and some stuff was just weird.
Yeah.
But overall, really enjoyed it. $5 to get in.
Yeah, $5
Was
a
it?
head.
Was a nice little visit.
Yeah.
While at Imbil, visit the Imbil lookout. So we've driven up here for a look around.
Hang on.
Glorious views up here. There's a sign at the bottom that says don't bring your caravan up. I advise no to that sign because it's a bit steep, but there is nowhere to turn around at the top either. We did our usual walk down the street at Imbil. The bakery and the pub were absolutely pumping. Fortunately, no hats were purchased in the making of this video.
Well, I've started at the back end, but get a load of this shop. Just amazing. It just goes on and on and on. Goodness me.
While staying at the Imbil Showgrounds, we went for a drive around the area to visit the various sites. The countryside was very green and picturesque. We visited Lake Barumba Dam, which provides water to the Imbil area and Gympie area, as well as irrigation to the Mary Valley. We passed through several campsites in the area and I was surprised just to see how full each one of them was. Lake Barumba camping was located on the banks of Yabba Creek and looked like a beautiful location, although I think I'd prefer it on a weekday when it wasn't quite so busy. One location that surprised me was the Barumba Deer Park, which is a camping and caravan park. Like the other sites in the area, this place was packed, but it was interesting seeing the deer there, being a deer farm of course. The lesson for me is avoid the southeast corner on a weekend. The hinterlands behind the Sunshine Coast were very packed at each location.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, we've just left Imbil in the hinterlands of the Sunshine Coast. A couple of nights stay there. We drove to Kenilworth Buru Range Road, which was windy road but beautiful scenery. And now on the M1 highway heading into our next destination, which is Marshall Ski Lake, before we take the van in for its first service.
We stayed at Marshall Ski Lake for an overnighter before taking our van into CoolumRV the following day for its shakedown service. This is a very scenic location and it was only 20 minutes from the Coolum area. It's 3 degrees here and bloody hell, hitching up is really not pleasant when it's so cold. I think I need gloves. Well, that brings our shakedown episode to an end. We've travelled to Marshall Ski Lakes where we had an overnighter there on our way to CoolumRV for our shakedown service with Richard from CoolumRV. We've come to CoolumRV to get our shakedown service done. Dropped off this morning at 8 o'clock and just here now at 2:30, just about ready to pick it up. They're just finishing the last bit of it now. The van has been very good for that first week, and there were a couple of issues which we'll go through those couple of issues now. The first one, of course, was the main one, which was the battery box and the repair that was done there, and you've seen it at the earlier part of the episode. There was also the front moulding which had popped away from the van a bit, and that has been rectified. There are a few minor issues as well.
Yeah, just the blinds at the windows, they were sort of scrunching up and not easy to lift up and pull back down again. But that was sorted with a change in
I think you just adjusted
loosening of
tension
screws
or something,
or tightening of screws, whichever. But they work beautifully now. And there was a bit of a squeak in the floorboards, so that was sorted also. Yeah,
so Richard from CoolumRV sorted that. He also went through the battery box and checked everything out for us after it had been repaired at Kingaroy. We're at CoolumRV, and Rich has done a wonderful job and managed to squeeze in all the things that we're hoping to get done. So it's up on the hoist now, and he's just checking out the battery box and all that to make sure everything's okay after that fix we had done on the fly. So when we went to CoolumRV to have a look how they were going, the van was up on the hoist, which is interesting, seeing the van on the hoist.
Sure was.
The battery box was down and they were going through it with a fine tooth comb and making sure everything was okay, which it was.
And which it is.
Yeah, which it is. Yeah, that's right.
Thankfully.
He did replace the 2 battery terminals for us. They were fixed by Kingsley Auto, but he put in the Zone recommended ones. And everything is now
the Zone recommended ones or the Redarc?
Or probably Redarc, actually.
Yeah.
That's right. So everything was given the tick of approval there, and all the problems were sorted out. So big thanks to Richard at CoolumRV.
Surprising that all the problems, like, including the minor little issues and the 2 big issues. So that was surprising that all those things were done within the day. So thanks very much, Richard. That was great.
Yeah, he did a good job getting everything done in time. So we were pleased for that. We didn't have to book a night into the motel or anything like that. Got our van back same day, about 3 o'clock. So it's now about a week after that shakedown episode finished, and the van has been working absolutely flawlessly since that time.
Especially the heater.
Especially the heater. There's got a few cold mornings.
Yeah.
It's working really well, and we're so pleased with it. We're really enjoying travelling in the van with no issues at all now. The shakedown
very comfortable.
Shakedown week sorted out, and we're enjoying our travel. So the 2 issues, the battery terminals and the moulding at the front corner of the van, they really should have been picked up by Zone in their quality control process, and they shouldn't have come out of the factory like that. So that was a little disappointing that was to occur. But having said that, their backup service or their warranty service is really top notch. Like we submitted online tickets for both of those issues. Zone responded on both occasions within about 3 hours, gave us a list of service providers we could go to for those issues to be fixed, and the service provider would then liaise with Zone for the invoice. We wouldn't have to worry about any of that. Or we could take it to anyone we liked, which we did for the battery at Kingsley Auto Electricians. Kingaroy Auto Electricians, and simply send the invoice into Zone, and they refunded that invoice within about 3 days back to us. So I think that their backup service and their warranty service was really top notch. So we're pleased with how smoothly that all went. And that brings this episode to an end. I hope you found that information on our Shakedown trip to be useful.
And if you're interested in our videos, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Bye for now.
See you guys.